Does it ever pay to represent yourself in court? Oh, there's a question.
It can be a bit like, as a non-dentist, doing your own tooth extraction. It's highly likely you're going to mess up a very significant part of your life forever.
Law permeates every aspect of our life, and so it's absolutely fundamental. Legal rules govern everything that we do.
Without a legal system, our society would disintegrate. We can't have any of the fun things that we enjoy in our lives.
So the rule of law and access to justice are a fundamental part of our society and the way in which we live. And until we engage in the process, we don't understand the value of access to justice.
A litigant in person is someone who's representing themselves in the court rather than having a solicitor or barrister presenting their case to the court.
And that could be because they want to do that, they choose to do that, or it could be because they actually can't afford to pay for a lawyer to represent them.
It's quite difficult to be able to get any public funding to be able to get a solicitor or barrister to take your case on.
I think until people come into contact with the legal system, they don't often realise how expensive it is to exercise your legal rights.
I don't know.
Over $1 billion has been removed from the legal aid budget over the last 10 years.
From 2013, quite significant areas of law were removed from legal aid, so people weren't able to get advice through the legal aid system. Criminal law and civil law is very different, so they're dealt with by different courts and have different processes to resolve them.
People don't really think much about the division between civil and criminal law, but the vast majority of legal issues that arise are actually civil cases.
So examples of civil law claims are things like family law, maybe divorce, children, personal injuries.
There are just so many different things that you have to know to be a competent practitioner to be able to get through the courts. The Civil Procedure Rules, 6,500-page guide to how you have to navigate the courts of England and Wales.
Nobody expects litigants in person to read those rules.
The Civil Procedure Rules were supposed to make life easier.
Yeah, you could kill somebody with one of those books.
One of the problems for people who find themselves facing a court process is that their only experience of it is what they might have seen on the television.
Order in this court.
In a courtroom, you don't find a gavel. Things like suits, for example, which is American, that doesn't represent what happens in the English legal system.
Objection. Withdrawn.
The suits and Judge Rinders will encourage people to think that they can do it themselves.
It is very rarely the little person heroically defending themselves against the big institution.
I rather arrogantly assumed that it would be a breeze.
Now raise your right hand.
I also thought they would not get as far as court. Usually if I write a stern letter, people give in, but this gentleman did not give in. It took a year, basically, to get the deposit back and the court fees and the hearing fee. I found it much more stressful than I had dreamed possible. I wasn't sleeping properly, and I was quite startled that my knowledge of the law was as little use as it was in the face of procedure.
It's not really the right to self-representation, it's the right to access to justice.
Access to justice actually involves knowledge of the procedure of the courts. It's little to do with the law and everything to do with which bit of which form to send to which person at which time.
And that's why it's really important for charities like Support to Court and Citizens Advice and other services to help litigants in person representing themselves to interpret some of the things that go on in the courtroom.
Helping people complete forms, awful forms very often, difficult forms, and accompanying them, if they would like us to, into the actual hearing. Even just the presentation of it can be really quite scary for people. They just don't know what's expected of them.
18,000 people a month represent themselves in court, and 9 out of 10 of those say it adversely affects their life.
It's not a straightforward process. It can be extremely stressful.
I deeply regret that the system made it so difficult for me and that it was so stressful.
Now what'll I do with it?
get someone who can help you and support you.
There is a whole free advice sector that's there to support people. Unfortunately, those services are very stretched and very under-resourced.
There's quite a lot of other ways to resolve disputes.
Mediation is a good thing, and it's been encouraged by the courts and by lawyers.
And if someone is able to find the money, at least to get legal advice, get some direction at the beginning, they may find that the whole thing is over much more quickly and they can move on with the rest of their lives.
I don't regret it though, because I believe in justice, and in the end, I got justice.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, be sure to check out these videos next. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to get a notification each time we upload a new video.